Chris Pratt and Anna Faris have separated, because love isn't real and we all eventually succumb to entropy. Or something. But it looks like working in the same field doesn't always help your marriage, because part of what may have torn apart this power couple was their very competitive natures. Chris Pratt and Anna Faris had a beautiful relationship. We say had because they've separated, and we don't mean to sound too pessimistic, but they don't seem like a couple that's going to bounce back after realizing that they can't live without each other. Sure, Anna Faris has reportedly been crying every day since the two of them split, but it's normal to grieve a relationship. And crying is a normal part of grief. Fans of the couple have been grieving, too. This news came as such a shock. From what we understand, it sounds like the biggest factor behind Chris Pratt and Anna Faris' split was disagreements about how to live their lives, pretty much. Anna Faris wants to stay based in LA and wants the family to spend a lot of time with each other. She reportedly also wants to have more children. Chris Pratt, on the other hand, is zipping around all over the world to film on different locations. So, yeah, he's pretty busy these days. And he certainly can't responsibly commit to having more children when he can't always be there for his family. Part of that story never quite struck us as the whole story. Like, who calls it quits, guaranteeing that the family will spend no time together, when their desire is to spend more time together. That's like refusing to eat your cake because it's not as big of a slice as you'd wanted. Cake is cake. It looks like there's more. Us Weekly reports that their source tells them that Chris Pratt's movie star status drove a wedge between him and Anna Faris. Why? Because apparently the two are pretty competitive. Chris became this huge movie star and Anna wasn't getting any big jobs. Most people would celebrate that, but you can see how a sudden change might leave her feeling like part of his old life. She was the more famous and sexy one at the start of their relationship and then things took a turn. Imagine if Kourtney Kardashian and Jens Benjamin stay together, but in a few years Jens becomes this huge movie star who's famous and beloved by fans for different blockbuster films. That might change their dynamic considerably. You'd think that Anna Faris would just be happy for Chris Pratt's sensational success. Right now he's a guy that Hollywood wants for every role, whether he's great for it like in Guardians of the Galaxy or an ill-fit like in Passengers. Most people would be beyond thrilled that their spouse has rocketed up to the top. Not to mention, brings home those kinds of paychecks. But their competitiveness has always been there, the insider claims. When they're in a big group, they each want to be the one telling the funniest joke. Apparently, Chris Pratt going from a guy who stars on one NBC comedy to a Hollywood A-lister practically overnight didn't sit well with Anna. It definitely caused tension in their marriage. That is just so sad. As news broke of their separation, a lot of people have been quick to share their own theories behind the split. And by theories, we really just mean theory, singular. Because, while Chris Pratt was handsome and lovable before he became a movie star. Remember how great he was, even early on Parks and Recreation? Like, his character was awful for that first season or so, but he himself was great. He wasn't, like, mind-blowingly hot until he was getting those big Marvel movie star bucks. Yeah. People joked that they'd never allow their significant other to get that hot, out of fears that they'd leave them. To be honest, though, Chris Pratt doesn't really strike us as the "gee, I'm hot and now I can bang anyone I want" type. There are plenty of those, and that's fine. Some people get rich and famous and hot pretty much entirely so that they can go wild with as many beautiful partners as possible. Their dream is to live Scott Disick's current lifestyle, but to be happy while they're doing it instead of being filled with self-loathing. Chris Pratt doesn't fit that profile, at all. Rumors aside, it's hard to picture him cheating. So of all of the factors that pulled them apart, their schedules, different ideas about how many kids they wanted to have, competition, we don't think that Chris' hotness was, directly, a factor. Sometimes, marriages end. Actually, all marriages end in death or divorce. That's how the world works, folks.